that's when you become more capable than you thought, when you're knowing your numbers. And that's when you start spending so much. I get more excited about saving than spending now. Like, who even am I?
Yeah.
Yes, who are you? It's great. We're loving it.
Welcome to the Wellness Amazon podcast, where we talk about everything body, mind, and spirit, health, and wellness. No subject is taboo here, and we have fun peeling back all the layers. Let's do this.
Welcome, y'all, to a new episode. Today, a little bit of a different thing. We're going to actually talk about money. And if you think, wait, this is a wellness podcast, you talk about religion, spirituality, and chakras and whatnot. And like, yeah. But, money can be a stressor or it can be a huge blessing. And we don't want this to be taken away from your wellness journey. So here we are with the Budget Besties. Welcome. It is Vanessa and Shana, and they're the experts, and they're going to walk us through some stuff today, and we're going to learn a ton. I'm going to learn a ton because, some of us super wellness girlies in this field also tend to spend a lot of money on gadgets. So I might need some help from y'all. So welcome to the show, Budget Besties. Love your name, by the way.
Thank you so much for having us. We are so excited to be here to talk about the B word and give you guys the permission to spend so you can buy all the fun gadgets.
Fun gadgets, supplements, all of that. Also, we're excited. We're excited to talk because I think, money stress and money kind of dealing with or playing like a boomerang or whatever with your emotions really can affect all those areas of wellness that you were talking about. And so we really just want, like you said, money to be a like autopilot and a blessing over here on the side, because I'm over here focused on my life. And I have all of these things that, I have that bring me joy, that are leading me along the path that I want to go. That money is just over here. It's like a tool to make those things happen. But right now, for a lot of people, it's not that. It's not a tool. It's a source of anxiety. It's a source of stress. It's a source of avoidance, which is also not a good thing. So we like Vanessa said, we love to talk about the B word. We'll get into it, but we're excited.
I love it. The B word. All right. So question. So first of all, I want you to introduce yourself, who you are, what you actually do, what your concept and your product is. And then I want to know how in the heck you got there.
Yeah, good question.
Well,
we're still thinking about that too.
It's a fun little journey. So obviously Shana and Vanessa, we've been friends since our boys were 4. They're now 17. They are going to be seniors next year in high school. And, we started teaching Dave Ramsey's FPU Financial Peace University course back in 2019 together. And we realized when we were teaching the course that there was a missing piece to the puzzle, we thought. The expectation was you go the first class and you make a budget and you come back and you move on to the next subject. And we realized people don't know how to budget. They literally came back the next day going, how do I do this? Did I do it right? Can you help me? Asking us all kinds of questions. So we really figured out that people need help with this. The expectation is that you knew how, you were taught, but we realized that people were not. And so we really wanted to dive in and help them build a budget. And then on the second part of that was they don't want to live on rice and beans. They don't want this scarcity mindset. And what they've been taught was that budgets mean no, they're restrictive. It means you can't do A, B, C, and D. And we really wanted to change the narrative around that and help women not feel shameful about budgets and allow them the permission to spend.
Yeah, we realized a lot of the, and we were in it too, a lot of the noise in the budgeting world is very masculine and very, like Vanessa said, it's almost like very bad girl. And we didn't love that. And so we have a whole different take on it. And also, even the spreadsheets, like we went to create a budget for our clients after we decided to kind of veer a little bit away from Dave's method. And they were all ugly. They had boy words in them, like variable
fixed. Yeah.
Fixed. Like we didn't need all that. So not only do we want to change the conversation, make it light, make it easy, make it simple, maybe even make it fun, but we wanted to make it look better. And so we actually created our own budget that is our clients tell us all the time that they actually enjoy looking at it, which is obviously a step up. It does the math for you. We thought that was important. But just to change the whole conversation, like Vanessa said, we don't need you to feel like you need to live on rice and beans. You can be bougie on a budget. And we want to show you how. And also, like we said before, take away the stress out of it. And then, of course, no judgment. If you want your pumpkin spice lattes, go for it. Or whatever, your kombuchas, whatever it is that you want. Like, we want to put it in the budget and you can feel good about it.
So making a budget was not part of the plan ever. Like we had no desire to create our own budget and spreadsheet. But we tried to go find one out there that we really loved and our clients loved, and we couldn't. So creating one from scratch that was super simple in 5 easy columns. It matches what you do with your hands throughout the month. And it's not scary because it's on one page, and it just allows you to see your money. And like Shana said, do you want to be able to do it? And the best part about that is that you don't have to track, because a lot of budgets out there, you can put words and numbers on paper and call it a budget. But then what do you do after that? And what we feel like is the expectation is that you have to track every single expense every day throughout the month to figure out how successful you are with your money. And we don't do that with our clients. We found
Yeah.
a different way.
Well, and that's what's so hard and what makes it usually so unattractive. And if
Yep.
it's something that you're dreading, because it's tax season, y'all, and I do the taxes in this house. So every year it's like, oh, I should have tracked this better. I should have every year. And it is so, I don't know, it gives me the heebie-jeebies, right? And then people don't do it because it sucks and it's annoying and you forget and then you think and then you have to backtrack and it's
It takes a lot of
definitely,
time. It's
it
so much
does.
extra time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so part of our journey, right? So like Vanessa said, we've been doing this for 6 years, is we started telling people to use cash, right? Like that was the going wisdom. And then, well, COVID happened and nobody was allowed to use cash anymore. So that changed. Plus people really just didn't want to. You can pay with your phone these days. So there's so many different, so we wanted to be able to use all the modern tools to your advantage, right? And so that's when we started implementing everything that your bank can do. So your bank, to our point here, is you can build a budget once and your bank can do the work for you from there. It can do all the transferring, all the paying of the bills, all of the things that we're going to talk about today for you so that you can go to your yoga class
Mhm.
and or whatever it is, whatever you love to do, go for a run and do all of your things and not have to be worrying about it. Like all of your money things, to your point, can happen without you having to, I don't want to go do this, right? Because it's already done. And
Yeah.
and theoretically, if you built the budget the way that we said, you're kind of excited about it, right? You're going to get some spending money. You're going to get money into your wellness bucket, like all of that kind of stuff. So that's what we're aiming for.
Yeah. Imagine the cash envelope system that grandma, your mom used to have, and we're bringing it into the digital world, being able to make it more convenient for yourself and just rolling with it, right? We understand that things are more digital now. So let's just work with that and make it
Yeah.
in our favor instead of trying to work against it.
Yeah. Well, and it helps you learn, just like when you're tracking food to
Right.
lose weight or get fit or bodybuilding or whatever you do it for, it shows you habits, right?
Yeah.
So if I track my food and I realize where all those calories go, oh, yeah, that latte every morning really hits. Woo, So it's same with the budget. If you look at it at the end of the month and you go, did I really spend $150 on that pumpkin spice latte every morning?
Right. And so the idea here is first of all, we don't want you to look at the end of the month. So on the other hand, and I think it's really important what you say with food, like you don't know what you don't know, right? Like
Mhm.
you didn't realize when you start that a latte is 500 calories and that baked potato or whatever that you had was also 500 calories because of the cheese or butter that you used or whatever. We get it. The same thing is happening with your money. The first time you're going to look at it and be like, "Oh, I didn't realize I was spending $600 a month on eating out or whatever it might be," right? But on the other side, we're trying to eat a little healthier in the house or whatever. And my husband keeps saying, "Well, I can't have it." I said, "Well, that's not what it's about. It's about what you can have,"
Yeah.
right? And so when you were planning your food, you'd be like, "Well, I love, hummus and I love the whatever." Like, let's focus on what we can have and make a plan based on that. And the same with your money. Let's focus on the good. Let's like plan on the front end. Oh, if I do all of this, I can have $300 of spending money a month. I can have all this money in my wellness bucket. I can put some money in my travel. Like, let's have it be pre-planning instead of
Yeah.
looking back at what I did and then just judging it. Like, we don't want to do that. We want to look forward and then make it happen automatically so that I'm always a good girl. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, imagine knowing your income is coming in, your bills are all taken care of, you have money in your wellness category, your gas and groceries, you're spending money, you have everything all ready to go, knowing that you can spend those amounts of money in those sections for yourself. And everything else is taken care of. And hey, maybe also at the same time you're paying off debt. Maybe also at the same time that you're saving for Christmas or saving for that big trip to Europe or whatever. But the idea is knowing your numbers, just putting it on paper is what we've seen, whether it's digitally or pen and paper, whatever you want to do. it's usually not as bad as you think it is. So it's wrecking balls in your brain. It's kind of like trying to get healthy, right? People think, well, you've got to weigh yourself every day. Then you have to go for a walk, but you also have to work out, and then you have to do this, count your macros. And then you get decision anxiety, and you decide to do nothing because there's all these things that you quote unquote think you have to do, right? Well, your money is no different. If you think you have to do X, Y, and Z to be successful, then you're probably not going to do it because you don't want to do anything. But if we can simplify your budget, look at your numbers, see what's going on, and then separate it and then automate it, you literally just have to, now you're the CFO of your finances. You've backed up. Now you're just watching it and managing it, and everything is happening for you.
Yeah. Oh, I love that phrase. Everything's happening for you, not at you. Yep.
Or against
Well,
you.
yeah, because
Mhm.
that is what, and tell us if you find this too, Lena, is like people rebel, right?
Mhm.
They make this plan and then they rebel against it, and it's like,
Mhm.
but nobody's telling you have to do anything. And so it's like this rebellious teenager that they go binge ice cream, or they go binge shop on Amazon or whatever, and it's like you've got to get over that mindset. Everything's happening for you, and you are the decider. You're the one that
Yep.
gets to decide how it's going to go. And I think that that's really the first step for people, is to get over the avoidance, and like Vanessa said, step into this era of you owning your finances, of you owning it, of you being excited. Like, we can get to the point where you're excited to look at it, and you're happy, and you're in control of it. And that's where the head in the sand, the not knowing, the wrecking balls in your brain, all of that is actually causing you more anxiety, more consternation than if you just looked at the numbers and you just made a plan.
Yeah.
And then you get to make some good plans too. It's not bad. And actually, when we actually look at all the numbers, a lot of times it's a lot better than you thought it was going to be, because it
Mm.
just creates this mess in your head when you think it's this or that or the other. And when we actually look at the real math, it's usually not so bad.
Yeah. And I have this, you call it teenager, I call it toddler
Mm.
behavior. I sometimes do feel like I get this urge of stomping my feet on the ground, having a complete meltdown about like, but I want this, or I don't want this, or whatever. It usually comes from what you just said, overwhelm,
Mm-hmm.
and it's too much, and it feels restricted, and it feels like punishment.
Yep.
Mhm.
Um,
When you're making a decision from a bad place, right?
Mhm.
Versus what we try to do is have you sit down, make your budget from a good mindset, a good place. And then, like we said, we set it up automatically. So then you don't have to make any decisions. Shayna likes to use the analogy of, like, the beginning of the year when you're going to the gym. You're trying to get healthy. You have to go to the gym the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth to be able to see
Like
results. You
every
have
day.
to go over and over and over again. When you set up an automatic budget system, you do it, you sit down one afternoon, you set it up one time, and then from that point on, it is automatic, and you don't have to make any decisions. It's not manual at that point. It is automatic, and you are out of it. So it's all happening, like we said, for you. So when you have a bad day, or you're like having those bad thoughts or whatever, you don't have to make decisions because it's all done. You've made those pre-decisions.
And I want to get into, because we want to talk to you about simplify as like kind of our first step, and then separate, and then automate. So those are the three, so that your listeners can see where we're going to go. But what we've found out is, once people set this up, that overwhelm that causes the toddler tantrum at the checkout line, like, I totally feel you. I understand exactly where we're all at with that. That goes away when you know you have money to spend, and you know exactly how much money you have to spend for you. And it is not in competition with your bills. It's not in competition with groceries. Like, it's magic. We call it magic because we don't have the science to back it up. We don't know like what's going on, with your dopamine hits or whatever. But we know when people set this up, and they actually know they always have money coming to spend every 2 weeks, every week, whatever, however they decide to set up the automatic budget system, they naturally stop feeling those ways, and feeling the like, what is it, impulse or binge spending, the toddler tantrums, all of that stops, because for the first time in my life, I've 100% know I have money to spend, and I know how much I have to spend. And I also, at the same time, know all my adulting things are
Yeah.
done. Like, I don't have to worry about any of that. And so they just start, all of that overwhelming angst leaves.
Yeah, we have a fun story from a client who, she said, she came on our podcast and gave her testimonial, and she said, when I knew that I had money coming the next day, she's like, I was out. I had my spending money and I was out, but I knew it was getting replenished the very next day. She said, I didn't have that urge to go overspend and buy the thing that I wanted in that moment, that I would have normally just swiped a card or credit card and got anyways, because I wanted, quote unquote, wanted it. She said, I knew the money was coming in less than 24 hours, and I knew that I could wait one day to get it when my money was replenished. So I think, like Shana was saying, you stop overspending when you constantly know that you have money coming to you to be able to spend on whatever you want, knowing that everything else is also taken care of.
Well, and just real quick, I know we talked about before how much we talk, so we love you. We're sorry, but
Cut us off anytime.
you can cut us off. But the thing is, when you set this system up, you're going to be able to really stop some of that anxiety and that overwhelm, because you know what it does. What it does is, like our fun friend Michelle talked about on our podcast. She said it stopped her from overspending. Well, usually she would have overspent, and then she created a future problem for her, or a problem for future her. That's really unkind to future her. Like, what did future her do to have to figure out how she was going to pay rent in 2 weeks because she overspent? Like, that is just this cycle that people get. And it varies on how bad or little it is, or maybe you just put it on credit card debt and someday you'll figure out how you're going to pay it off. Like, we want to stop all of that, because being well overall is not doing any of that. We don't want to create future problems. We're trying to create a future that we're excited about, or that we want to get to, a vision that we want. And so all of that, those anxiety and those emotions really do start to like snowball into the future. And so what we want to do is like cleanse all of that, right? And set up this automatic budget system so that we can just live our life and like keep moving towards those goals without creating future problems. Look, raise your hand if you understand future problems are going to come all on their own without any help from us.
Yeah, we don't need to.
Like,
we don't need to add them.
So that's where we're trying to help you out with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a question for you both. And obviously, I mean, you're two ladies, right? We established that. But also, you did talk about how in the beginning, when you started learning about these things and doing your training, how everything was directed more into the male energy field, right? What sets this apart? Why? How? Well, first of all, how do females maybe spend differently and have different problems with finances? And then how does your stuff come into this? Because yours is focused on females. How does this work?
Well, for one thing, our system is pink and teal, so you can't go wrong there.
Okay, so
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I think we're both moms, we're both entrepreneurs, we're both wives, we speak to women on our podcast. But listen, we have guys that come and listen just because they resonates with them. But honestly, we understand what the women are going through. Our husbands work really hard jobs. And sometimes the women are the ones that are holding the weight of the finances, right? So in a relationship, it's usually the husband, even if they're doing it together, there's always one that's weighing them down, right? So what we've seen is a lot of men are dealing with it, but also so are a lot of women. And they're trying to tell the husbands that it's all taken care of and they've got it under control. When the reality is the husbands don't realize how much gas and groceries cost. They don't realize how much sports fees cost. They don't realize how much field trips cost, and they have a lot going on. So we've seen a lot of women come to us with a lot of stress, feeling like they're carrying the weight of it, not wanting to tell them what's really going on, to not stress them out, right? And so we just try to be in their corner and try to help them. And again, put it on paper, show them that it's not as bad as they think it is, and then walk them through a plan on how to get out of it.
Well, and I want to say our plan, I think, clicks with the female brain. In fact, it's not anecdotal. We have client after client. Like, this is the first thing that's actually made sense for me. Like, why isn't everybody telling us this? Well, we don't know. We're trying. Okay.
Yeah, help us.
But think about, we think about one of the steps that we're going to talk about, separate, right? We're separating your money in like the cash envelopes. That made a lot of sense for people. Like, if I have money in this envelope for groceries, I have money in this envelope for whatever. I don't even know what other envelopes people had, kids or whatever. We're taking that into the modern version, which is your bank accounts. You can make different bank accounts. And so your money is separated. It's kind of like, how, your silverware drawer, all the silverware is separated. You know where each one goes, what it's for. It's kind of like that. And we think about what you have right now is, everybody can picture that unorganized closet where like everything is like stuffed and whatever. And it's all just whatever. And like Vanessa just had her closet redone. Oop, I just hip bumped her because I'm so excited for her. And, she's got now, it's nice and organized. She's got a space for her workout clothes. She's got a space for her church outfits or whatever, her business outfits. She's got a space for her shoes, for her belts. Like, everything is organized and it goes exactly where it is. And when she walks in, she knows exactly where she's going to shop her closet for each thing. That's what we're setting up for you, ladies. Like, you're going to, when you walk into Target or wherever you're going, you know exactly where the money's coming from. When you need to get groceries, when you need to go get your hair done, like, it's all separated. And that, I think, has really clicked for a lot of women. And then the other thing I would say that where we understand women is women are going to put themselves last every time. When Vanessa's talking about it's all on their
Carrying their
shoulders,
weight.
they're going to put themselves last. So when we tell you it's non-negotiable to put spending money in your budget for you,
For yourself.
and you're not allowed to give it to the kids, you're not allowed to give it to the husband, it's not allowed to go for groceries, it's for you. That's a game changer for most women, and it really helps heal their relationship with money.
Mhm.
Because when that happens, we're trying to be altruistic, but then we end up going and putting on credit card, or we end up stealing it from here or there, and then we feel bad, and then we're in this loop again of you're a bad girl, and it's just terrible.
Mhm.
So that's part. And then also for kids, that's one that steals a lot of women's money, and like they can't figure out how to manage like saying yes or no to their kids. So we really have a good plan for that too.
Yeah.
So it's all a very feminine approach, from the pink and teal to like how we like things organized and sort of set apart and not all stuffed in one closet and all of that kind of stuff. So really it's just coming from a female perspective, and we've had so many women say it's the
Yeah.
first thing that's clicked for
And
them.
what we realized too is that when you make good money but have nothing to show for it, and that's what that's the women that we're dealing with, is they make good money and then they look back and go, but where did it all go? It's probably because you gave it all to the kids, or you
Yep.
spent it all on Chick-fil-A, or things that you don't even know because your money isn't organized and you have no idea what's going on with it. But, we'll just get into our system. It's 3 parts. So the first one is to simplify. And our budget is 5 simple columns. So we want you to list your income, and then you list your minimum debt payments, and from your minimum debt payments only. And then from there, you list all of your monthly bills. And a monthly bill is anything that's reoccurring, anything that is due monthly, like your gym membership, your utilities, your mortgage, anything, your auto insurance, all of that. That's a monthly bill. Groceries is on a monthly bill. Okay. Your gas is on a monthly bill. That is spending. So we go from income to minimum debt payments to bills. Then we go to your spending section. That's where you live in your budget. That's when you're going to Target, you're going to Starbucks, you're going to the grocery store, you're going to Chick-fil-A, you maybe go to the Saturday market, you have money there for your kids, you're spending money, your husband's spending money, all of that is in your spending section. So you list all of that there. And then after you list that, then you go to your savings section if you have anything left. And your savings is where you're saving for future unexpected, quote unquote, unexpected expenses. Like Christmas. Don't forget, guys, it's December 25th every single year. Never fails. Your kid's birthday, same month every single year. Okay. So we want to make sure your vet visits, we want to put all of that in the budget. Figure out how much you cost. It's really easy to make a budget on gas and groceries and monthly bills. Anyone can do that. But really go in and figure out how much you cost. Put that in your budget on a monthly basis. And then you can see truly where your money is going every single month. So that's the part of the first part is simplify. Is you have 5 simple columns on one page so you can see where all of your income is going throughout the month.
Nice. Nice. And I do have to, what you said in the beginning too, with a lot of these plans and budgets and how to get there and how to get out of the debt and how to do all this, it's very, well, what you said, rice and beans. And for somebody who has never, looked into this, it's you cannot go get a coffee. You cannot go out to eat ever. You need to eat at home. You do need to meal prep. You do need to do whatever, pre-cook and freeze it in and save money that way. You need to go to Costco and all that stuff. And it's like, that sounds like so much fun. Yay. And it's, I understand that it
Yeah.
works and that sometimes you have to be disciplined depending on your situation and maybe how much debt you had. But also there's a social life. You go out sometimes and you're out all day. Oh, yeah, you didn't bring a lunchbox. So sorry for running errands all day. And you get stuck in traffic and it's 5:00 and you haven't eaten anything. It's okay.
Yeah, you shouldn't feel guilty for trying to grab food to nourish your body.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
think so sometimes people will ask us if we come on a podcast, well, what's the first thing you cut from a budget? And we don't do that. Our little tagline that's trademarked is be bougie on a budget. We want you to be bougie on a budget, but you won't know how bougie or your version of bougie until you put it on paper. So to your point, very rarely is it like that severe. And a lot of times it's manufactured to be that severe because someone's telling you need to pay $2,000 extra on debt every month, right? Like if you look at your basic numbers, which is why, like Vanessa said, we just want you to put your minimum debts, put your minimum debt payments. And then when in your spending, you need gas and groceries, you need money for you need money for restaurants or date night, you need money for the kids, you need money for whatever spending that is regular, which actually 90% of your budget can be the exact same every month. And then let's put the things for savings that we know we're going to spend money on so that we don't use debt and we don't end up using debt in the future because we forgot that we had a $2,000 insurance bill due or property taxes or whatever. We're going to on purpose start saving for that. When I see all the money left over, then I can decide, do I want to pay extra on debt? Do I want a little bit more spending? Do I want to save for travel because I actually have some money?
Yeah.
But and that's our budget does the math for you, which is really important, you guys. Come on. Can I get backed up on that? Yeah, because like I don't need to be doing any math all the time by myself. But that's why it's like you can play with the numbers and see like, okay, if I only do $300 eating out a month, then I can put an extra $100 toward debt and be realistic with it. Cause that's what we mean by bougie on a budget. That's different for everybody. For you, it might be, I get to, our bougie season right now is our girls are in travel volleyball. And so that's really where most of our money gets to go. It's super fun. But so, we're not in debt, but we're probably wouldn't be putting a lot of extra debt, money on debt right now because that's kind of consuming a lot of the budget, right? But if your version of bougie is not that, we had a clients that they do horseback riding and she does horseback riding and he goes hunting. Like that's their Zen moment for them. That's in the budget. And they also paid off credit card debt, right? So it's just really up to you. But to your point, it's not cookie cutter. It's not, you absolutely can't do anything until you get out of debt. No, like you got to live now. You got to live your life. Right now you have opportunity, you have your health, you have the ability to make memories. So we want to balance that with being a good steward and being, responsible, paying off your debt as you can, so that's where bougie on a budget comes in.
Yeah, this is where we don't do the 50, 20, 30, like different percentages for savings. Like, we don't do that. Every single person's budget is different. And what they're going through in this season of life is different than the next person. So every single one of our clients' budget is specifically designed around them, as it should be. My life is different than hers, different to the next person. And so what I think is bougie, what I'm excited to put on my budget is different than somebody else. And so we're just trying to get you to create a budget that gets you excited, that points towards your goals. Like Shana said, if your goal that month is to pay off debt, all the extra money you have in your budget, put it towards debt as long as everything else is taken care of. If your goal that month is to fund, hey, I'm going to fund Christmas in full this month because we got a bonus, do it, right? Like whatever you decide, whatever brings you joy, do that. So that way it keeps you wanting to come back and do it again.
Yeah. That is a beautiful thing. Like what you said, I can already see how that takes the anxiety out. Because usually I ask people when they come on the show, what do you think is the biggest misconception about either what you do, your product, or in your case, budgeting in general? And you just told me all of that already, that, well, people hear budget, their toenails curl, and they're like, well.
And not in a good way.
Yeah, rice and beans and, I can't do anything ever again. And it's going to be like punishment all the time. And you take that out and make it tangible, fun, realistic. You can still have a social life and enjoy the everyday, bouginess, whatever that means to you. So what do you think is people's, when you look at your clients, how do people really sabotage themselves the most? Or in your case, the ladies out there, what's the biggest sabotaging we do to ourselves?
Well, it kind of comes back to this question you had about misconception, which is the B word, like that the B word has to be the B word. It can't be bougie in a budget, right? But the other misconception people have is everybody thinks they have a spending problem, which is kind of what you're alluding to. In some form or fashion, they're spending too much or they're spending this or they're using credit cards or whatever. But really what is really holding them back and the way they're sabotaging themselves is they actually have an organization problem. Because imagine everything that you're doing coming out of one account, which you probably can't imagine because that probably is you. But what you have is like 80 transactions in one account every month. And so when you go on the busy traffic day to Panera Bread or wherever you're going to grab something quick to eat, you're like, okay, did I get gas? Okay. Did the mortgage come out? Do I need to pay any other bills? Do I have enough money for this weekend? Okay. Yes, I can go to No, ma'am. That is all of those decisions and micro decisions that you have to go through and figure out. That is your problem. That is what's holding you back. And you didn't even know it. You didn't even know. We understand. You didn't know that you could have several checking accounts and you could solve this problem right away. What we want for you is for you to get organized with your money with our separate step.
Yeah. So the first one we talked about was the simplify demystify, get your budget on one page in 5 simple columns. The second one, like Shane is explaining, is the separate. We're taking the cash envelope system, making it digital. Hey, guess what? I know you probably opened up a bank account when you were 18 and you got your first job and you have one checking and one savings. So excited for you, but we're gonna like next level. We're gonna Mario this, okay? Next level. You can have multiple checking accounts and you can have multiple savings accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just swiping a credit card throughout the month because you didn't know you could buy something for an intentional debit card that is specifically for gas and groceries, that is specifically for dining out, and that is specifically for your spending money. Like that's it. Think of that. Think of knowing that you have you set a big budget for the month, and then you have little mini budgets, one for gas and groceries, one for your spending money, one for going out to eat and having, goofy golf with the family and all this. If you have kids, we want you to have one for kids. But all the decisions are made for you after all of the money is in those accounts. All you have to do is just have a good time and spend out of those accounts.
And it's really great because what you've done, as Vanessa said, with the 1-page budget, you've looked at everything bird's eye view. 1 month, everything I bring in, what can I do with this money? So you and to all of our point, like you made a good when you were on a good girl.
Yes.
It's not you weren't at the grocery store hungry. You're like, okay, look at all this money. What am I going to do with it? At that point is when you set those budgets. You say, okay, we spend $2,000 on groceries a month, and I want $300 for spending, or maybe I'll say $400 just to make it easier. And then you know what? Let's just do $500 for restaurants a month, and those are the budgets that you set. Well, then every 2 weeks or whatever payday you get, that money goes into a separate account. Like Vanessa said, you have one for gas and groceries, one for eating out, and one for personal spending. And every 2 weeks you get more money, and you just live in that little mini budget. So when you're at Panera Bread, you're like, look, girl, you got money. You can go to Panera Bread and go get your nails done. Okay. And you don't have to talk like that. You can talk whatever your inner voice tells you, But you don't have to think about the bills because those are in a separate account getting paid automatically. We're going to talk about that next. And you don't have to think, okay, if I go to Panera Bread and get my nails done, will the family eat this weekend? You don't have to worry about that because the groceries are separate as well. And then eating out, you have your budget for that and you have your personal spending. And like Vanessa said, yes, you would have 3 debit cards. That's okay. We have labels. You can put them on there. It's better than having 4 credit cards and a debit card and not having any money and not knowing that you have money. And like Vanessa said, it's a mini budget. All I have to do is stick to, what did I say? $100 a week for personal spending. Like that's all I have to think about. Okay, I have 100, and it's going to be up to whatever you set. But in this budget example, if I said $400 a month, every week I'm getting $100 to spend. I like it to be on Friday.
Yeah, me too.
Right? Like let's just get that money on Friday, and we'll just see if I can make it the whole weekend. No, I'm just kidding. But and then I know it's going to get replenished, right? And like if I don't spend it all, great, then I have more, and that's all I have to think about instead of the rent and groceries and gas and going out to eat and the kids wanted this, and then I forgot about the water bill and like all of that in one account. Gross. We're not doing that anymore.
And this removes the requirement or the necessity to track, right? So what we're doing is we're putting money in this separate account for these different categories. And listen, you need to rename those accounts because you can have multiple accounts and you can also rename them in your bank. So we're using the tools, like Shana said at the beginning, that your bank offers for you, not against you. So you rename them, and then you know that you have a certain amount of money in there. And when I go to the grocery store, like for instance, last week, we get all of our money replenished on Thursday mornings, and it was Wednesday afternoon, I think. And my son said, hey, Mom, I want orange juice. And I was like, okay, there's $33 in the gas and groceries account, and it gets replenished in the morning at midnight. So I was like, what else do we need for $33? Because listen, when we have plenty of money in there, we bought some ribeyes and stuff, some extra stuff. But the idea is like, I decided how much money was okay for us, what we wanted weekly in our gas and groceries account. And getting down to 0 the night before is perfect for me because I know it's enough. I know it's always enough for us. And he didn't need orange juice at that moment. Okay, he's fine. He could have waited till the next day. But I went and got it. Right, I know, he's sweet. And he was sick, it's fine. His mama went and got it for him. But it's the idea is the money was there. I'm not tracking every single time I go to the grocery store. I don't care how much I spend every time I go. All I do is before I go, I check the account. I know I have $50. I don't go over. Right. And it's so much easier than feeling like you have to put in a spreadsheet every time you do something throughout the month to track every single expense. We are not for that. Taking the money into those separate accounts removes all of that for you.
That is genius. And the funny thing is I'm learning in real time right now. Like my brain is going 100 miles an hour with everything you're saying. So now I'm going to share what my misconception was when you started talking about different accounts. Granted, I'm from Germany. I grew up in Germany. So it's a little bit different over there. But when you said you do separate accounts, my first thought was, well, I can't do that because that's going to hurt the interest rate that like the money I make with having more money in that account. And then my rational brain kicks in and said, oh yeah, how much is that every month, Melina?
Got him.
Like those 49 cents, right? And it's like, oh yeah, it probably doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference.
We will take that and counter with or up the ante here. Because what we want you to do is put those savings buckets. So some of those savings buckets are going to be a little healthier, right? Like your Christmas one, depending on how bougie you want to be for Christmas, travel, annual bills, depending on your vet. Like some of those might actually have a healthy amount of money that starts to stack up. Those can be in high yield savings accounts and actually will make you money every month because you're leaving it there to save, right? Versus a checking account, first of all, is not going to make you any money. There's no interest rates in checking accounts anyway. And it's such a small amount of money that's actually paying your bills or that you're using for groceries. You would never have made any money on that anyway. It's
a revolving door.
Right.
Money's in and out.
And then beyond that, what we know is people use credit cards and they're paying interest usually. Like that's actually what's happening. So if we can switch all of that, we will be able to save some money. Like your emergency fund and those other funds can be in a high yield and make you some money. And then we will be able to not overspend the other stuff, which is a negative amount that we would have been doing.
And if people are like, yeah, but I just use my credit card and I pay it off every month, that's fine. But I guarantee you're spending more than you probably want to be spending because a credit card balance or your credit card limit is on a budget. So if you can put everything in separate checking accounts, it's going to hold you accountable to the amount of money you said you wanted to spend in those categories. And then like Shana said, the rest of it, you're building in all your savings buckets. And right now, interest rates are around 4% interest on high yield savings. So imagine you have 10 savings buckets, right? And they all have 4% interest and you have thousands of dollars in all those every single month. You've now reversed it and you're making more than you were paying or you weren't making anything. Because if you're using a credit card, then you're just paying at the end of the month, right? So you're racking it up, you're paying it late, so you're a total month behind. So you're not paying interest, but now with you using a system, you're now making interest every single month.
Yeah, and real quick, we're not that big on debt. We are big on budgeting, which means you know what's happening with your money and you feel really confident and clear about it, which credit cards usually don't. They don't give you that feeling. But also what we know is usually people have commas in their debt column, right? So they're paying so much every month on debt, which is paying for the past, versus if you set the system up the way we're asking, then you're going to start seeing commas add up in your savings accounts. And that's a totally different feeling. Like it's about how do you want to feel? People feel really good when they start building those savings buckets. It's like a game changer, identity changer. So we're not like, oh, credit cards, cut them up and, burn them to the ground or whatever necessarily. Like whatever. But we just want you to stop relying on them. We know you make enough money to not have to use them. And then also see what it might feel like to start saving money because you're definitely overspending if you're using them. That is the plan. That is, we know that for sure. And you're not really in control of your money. Like Vanessa said, it's not a budget. A credit card limit is not a budget. It's a, don't go over this. And then all of my money for next month is spent because I have to go pay it off. Right. And that's just not that's not in control on purpose, right?
Yeah, we just want you to be the type of person that is used to having money. And that is where people, like, that's where the shift comes, is when they're used to spending money and they have no money. And then now we've set up the system and their savings buckets are building thousands of dollars every single month. And now they have money in these accounts for future self. And that is really exciting.
Right. And like what you said, cutting up the credit cards, especially in the US, this is not going to work because we have credit scores. They want you to be trackable. If you start paying everything with cash, I mean, I have friends that are like tattoo artists or whatnot, they get paid a lot of in cash and they have a lot of money in the bank, but they are hurting for a credit score because they don't have these transactions that gets them a good credit score at the end of the month. That's not an option either. And I love what you said about the savings bucket because I would assume that if you don't have good savings buckets and you have that debt bucket, that when something happens that's out of the norm, dishwasher breaks down, car breaks down, washer, whatever, right? And you have a big expense and you don't have that savings column going on, your debt column is going to get bigger because it wasn't in the savings columns in the first place. So I love your real life system is what I want to call it, that fits into everybody's life.
Yeah.
And it's not
And
like some
that's where
unicorn.
we tell people we want you to be your own bank. You
Yeah.
guys, we have a lot of B
Mhm.
words, okay? Just everything alliteration B.
Budget, bougie.
Yeah, all the B words, but we want you to be your own bank. So, for example, sometimes people keep credit cards. The one that we get commonly is like a vet emergency.
Mhm.
And so, well, what if you had whatever your credit card limit is? What if you had that in the bank in your vet account, making you money, by the way, making you interest? And, it might take you a minute to save up that much, and then you don't need the credit card for that.
Mhm.
Like, you can be your own bank. You can have your own money and loan yourself money. You don't have to ask somebody else for their money because that's what credit is, right? Is using someone else's money for something that you can't afford because you didn't have the money. That's what credit
Mhm.
actually is. And so you could have the money in the bank and you can pay it yourself. And we want to kind of build up those savings buckets for all of those. Like
Mhm.
you said, a broken washer, a broken refrigerator, or whatever, all of those moments, eventually you can build those up. And then you don't have to ask permission for someone else's money
Right.
to get out of a situation, like a emergency or even a regular non-emergency.
And that's where the savings buckets come into play because you have an emergency fund for true emergencies like your refrigerator, because that's an emergency. You need food in the
It's
house,
important.
got to be cold. But your dishwasher breaking may or may not be an emergency because, listen, you can hand wash, the kids can hand wash. That's not technically an emergency, like an immediate, right?
Mhm.
But your Christmas, so like emergency fund that you're going to build is separate than saving for Christmas. And like Shana said, saving for your vet. Those are all unexpected expenses that pop up that you deem as an emergency because we weren't prepared for them. And that's why we say figure out how much you cost in a year, divide it by 12, put it in your budget. So you are budgeting monthly for yourself. So you truly know how much you cost. And then also you have an emergency fund for true emergencies, not your kid's birthday.
Mhm.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. This gets me to another question. So, when people go and do your program, and you tell them a little bit what to do, you tell them about the accounts, you give them this budget construct and the skeleton for that, and how to do these things. What do you see with your clients? Usually, how they change their behavior in spending. Is that something you see?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, we have bougie, bougie, bougie people that just love to spend money and they just come. It's so
We're so
weird.
happy for them.
We are
We love it.
and they just come and naturally stop spending so much because I think a big part of it is the emotional stress they're under
Hmm.
that they don't really know what's happening. So it just causes this like loop of I'll feel better by spending and then later I'm gonna feel bad because I have no money and
Mhm.
I have more credit card debt now. That really is part of it, like when that's gone, but then also knowing I have money to spend, but also knowing that I am funding my real bougie life. Like
Mhm.
if I am putting $1,000 in my travel bucket every month, I don't really like I feel better about that and going on that trip than I would buying something at Amazon or buying something at the mall like that I didn't really need that's kind of cluttering my house. Like all of that starts to solve it. But it's like Vanessa said, we have to be okay with having money. That's the first lesson. That's why we want you to use your own money. We want you to set up these spending buckets and savings buckets so that you can feel good and understand that I have money. I'm doing a good job. Like I work hard and I know where my money's going. And then really it feels like a lot of that spending problem kind of solves itself.
I will say too, we see a lot of people put unrealistic numbers in their budget at the very beginning because
Mhm.
somebody told them that a family of four should only be budgeting at $1,200 a month for groceries. Somebody told them that they should only be putting $400 to $500 a month and going out to eat, or 200 or zero. So what we see is like I had a lady one time, lovely, lovely couple. They had five kids, I think, and she said, "Hey, we spend $4,000 a month on out to eat." And she's like, and this month, very first month of coaching, she's like, I want to bring it down to 1,000. And I was like, nope, not putting that in the budget. I said,
Yeah.
you're already setting yourself up for failure. Like this isn't going to work. You're not going to meet this mark. You're going to be miserable. You're going to hate it. This isn't fair to you and your family. So we gradually moved it down from, 4,000, I think, to 3,000. I think she was comfortable at finally, I think 2,000 or 1,500. I forget what we finally stair stepped it down to. But they put these unrealistic numbers in their budget and then they say, I failed. I can't budget. This isn't for me. I'm bad with money. Shame, 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 shame. And so what we've tried to do is, like we said, make a realistic budget around your life and what you really spend, because you have to do that first. Otherwise, you're going to think that you're a failure and then you're not going to want to do this. And then you're going to wonder in 10 years why nothing's changed.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that you don't really know what you're capable of until you put all of this on paper.
Mhm.
We we see people start competing like with their spouse. Oh, look how much spending money I have left. It's like,
My husband did that to me
y'all
last month.
were racking up credit cards 2 months ago. Like we couldn't stop. You couldn't stop. And now you're competing over who spent less. Like who even are you, right? It's just this idea with your heads in the sand, you're just going full force, like whatever, we'll figure it out later. But when you actually look at the numbers and you feel good about them, right? Because our first step truly is to dream. What are you looking forward to? What is your vision? What do you want your money to do for you? And that means like micro, maybe this month, this year, but 5 years, 10 years, like what do you want? That is why you're making money, is so you can get the things out of life that you want, right? Theoretically. So, and that's how you're going to fund it, was with money. But let's start with it from a good place. And if you do that and you put those things in your budget, like we said, the travel, or, like I said, everybody's bougie is different. You go on horseback riding, you're going on the yoga retreats, whatever it is for you, put that in your budget. Start saving for it. You're going to feel, oh, all of a sudden I am the kind of person that I want to be. Like I'm moving toward her. And that, like I said, I think that's when you become more capable than you thought, when you're knowing your numbers. And that's when you start spending so much. And we had somebody say, I get more excited about saving than spending now. Like, who even am I?
Yeah.
Yes, who are you? It's great. We're loving it.
Yeah. I have probably the healthiest wellness budget I've ever had in my life now. And I feel the best I've ever felt in my life. And I'm like, it's truly who I am, who we are, like my husband and I, trying to be this best version of ourselves in our 30s and 40s. And I'm so excited to have gotten here, but I wouldn't have gotten there without looking at my numbers and knowing and feeling okay that I can do this because everything else is taken care of.
Yeah. Are people ever overwhelmed when you do that very first thing? Imagine what you want your money to do for you. What is it? Because I see that in like the metaphysical space about vision boards, right? Or goals, or imagine where you want your job to be, your career, whatever. People are so afraid to think big. Is this something that you see where people are like, oh, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I remember one of my first clients I had, and I asked her and her husband the question on a free call before they joined for coaching, and she cried. She said, nobody's ever asked me that before. And I'm like, y'all are married. Y'all never asked each other that before? And so I just felt so bad. But yeah, I think creating that vision, that picture for themselves sometimes is really hard because they go to school, they go to college, they get a job, they get married, they have kids, and they're stuck in their rut and they never look up. They forget to dream.
Yeah. And I would say the other part of that is they don't trust themselves, right? So they if they're looking at making this vision, making these dreams, it's hard for them to articulate it because they don't trust that they can get there, or they don't believe that they can get there. Maybe is the better word. And that's why our favorite part about this is why we are budget nerds, because it's just math. Like I can't really go over there and tell you how you're going to manifest becoming the president of the United States or whatever you want to do, world peace or whatever, babe. Like I can't do that for you, but I can tell you how you're going to get to Bali on your 40th birthday. Like I can do that, and so it's just math, and that's where it's really fabulous. And honestly, all of your goals are really tied to money in some way, right? Whether it's the time freedom so that, that you're getting because you have everything paid off and you don't have, your footprint isn't so much, or it's going to Bali and that literally costs money, not as much as some other places, but all of them are tied to money. So we really need to get a handle on this so that you can become that person. And, you can start small. I'm sure that's probably part of your, your vision. If you need to kind of grow into the person, that you're going to be, that's great too. But you've got to start. We've got to start, and we've got to start believing that, or building that belief in yourself, that trust in yourself. And honestly, Lena, that's part of why we love the system, is it becomes almost foolproof, fail-proof, because if we set it up, your savings buckets are going to grow automatically. Your spending is going to go into your account, and that's all you're going to have to spend. And unless you truly really, like, not even toddler tantrum, but like go as a toddler and go sneak into mom's purse and steal money on purpose, even though mom already gave you money. That's the level of like extra you have to get to mess up the budget. You're not going to do that for the most part. There's enough friction set up. It's like when you at home, you don't have any junk food at home, right? You have to drive to the store. Okay. And if you're that committed, go for it. Right. But when you set up this automatic budget system, it's going to do all the things for you. And so it helps you build confidence in yourself every time the savings bucket grows. Every time, like it's $33 I have left and I didn't go over and I have more money tomorrow. Like it starts to just build this confidence, and to the point of all of that money, all the money is going to help you reach your bigger goals.
Yeah.
Like it's just a great stepping stone for you.
And you're not going to get it right the first time. The first time you go make a budget, if you don't know what your numbers are, it's trial and error. And so you're going to put numbers in there. We try to tell you, hey, look at the past 3 months and just kind of see what your normal spending is like, and you put that in the budget. But just know that you're going to get to the right amount of groceries that you know you're going to spend every single month, the right amount of money that you want to spend on out to eat every month on yourself. You're going to figure this out. And like we said, most of the part is automatic. I do want to share 2 stories really quick. I had a guy one time, he was a client. He said, listen, and he had a lot of debt. He said, listen, I want to pay off debt, but I am not giving up travel. And I was like, done.
Right.
So he went on all the trips, but we paid for them in cash, which normally he charged them and then he paid for them later. So he not only paid for all of his future trips in cash, we also paid off like $60,000 in debt at the same time while he was doing all this. And so, yes, could he have gone further faster and not done any travel and put all of that towards debt? Sure, but he would have been miserable. That was not what he wanted to do. And he was so happy with the journey that he was on doing it together. But having that vision for his life, knowing that this is what he wanted. And then Shana had a client who, unfortunately her husband was diagnosed with cancer, and she was talking about setting it up automatically. Shana set her budget up automatically. So everything was happening for her. So she could be fully present at the situation at hand and what was going on. Imagine that happening in your life, whether it's a change of career, whether you're having a baby, whether it's a medical situation like that, or a death in the family, whatever it is, knowing that you have taken the time one afternoon to set your finances up, done it and put it on automatic, right? Through your bank app. And all you have to do is live your life and be focused on what's going on.
Yeah. It's almost like what you two do is a little bit of a deprogramming of people and making sure they unlearn things that unfortunately we are indoctrinated into this, ooh, money bad, money worry, money anxiety, all of these things. And it's there's never enough and there's scarcity and all that stuff. So it's really profound work what you do, even from a psychological perspective. So kudos to you for, swimming against the stream and going against that narrative that we're all exposed to.
Yeah, I think that we didn't necessarily know that's what we were getting into, but the more that we're in it, the more we're willing to hold the space for you and just a lot of what we're speaking over you is just, call it deprogramming, but, just speaking life over you and
Having somebody in your corner.
just getting rid of all of that. We're not for any of that other stuff. Like, we believe you're good at money. You're good with your money is not a bad thing. It's just a tool. Like, and we are unashamed. We're very bold about it. We want you to have permission to spend money. We want you to go to Bali. Like, I'm just speaking life over that. Okay.
It's happening to me.
Whatever it is. And like, we're just tossing all that other stuff out. Like, we don't have any time for that. And, and so, yeah, I think that the more we do it, the more we see that and the more we're ready. Like, we're here. Well, we will just throw all that in the trash can and we're going to make budgets pink and teal, y'all. We're not going to put fixed and variables on there. Like, no shame, no judgment, all of that. We're in this together. We all want to go get our hair done. We all want to, save for retire. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's a conversation that we need to have. It needs to be open and it needs to not be full of shame or you're a bad girl. Like, all of that's got to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's dive into, I'm a listener. I'm excited. I go to budgetbesties.com. What happens next?
You're like, oh, there's more pink and teal. Oh.
Hey, we will say it's the perfect shade of pink and teal that even the guys love it. Okay, we will say that. So budgetbesties.com/start. We have a free masterclass there for you to learn about the automate part. Automatic budget system. And it's just a short video for you to just really understand how your budget can work for you, not against you, and how you can set it up automatically so it's a one and done situation.
Awesome.
We just want to make it as simple as possible. And sometimes the masterclass shows you, like, in a video, right? So as much as this all sounds good, hopefully it does sound good, but
I'm a visual person.
Yeah, I've got to see what are you saying, and so you can see what we're saying, which I think is really important for all of us. And that way, we didn't really get into the automate step today, but that's really what it's going to dive into to make all of this come to life. Like we said, you don't have to go to the gym every day; you just have to go the first day. Get this set up, and it'll take care of you.
Wow, that's amazing. So I hope people understand that, because that is a lot of times it's not that way. The way of the budget is you constantly have to put information into it. And you took that step out. Is that correct?
Hopefully,
Yeah.
Amazing.
like that's our goal.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
Okay.
and then if they're already on a podcast, they can hop on over to Financial Coaching for Women as well and tune in. We have a ton of free information. We have over 500 episodes. They can dive in and really listen to kind of what we talk about, how we talk about it, and then they can implement it on their own.
Awesome. What platforms are your podcast? Is your podcast on?
All of them that we know of.
All the ones that we think exist. that we-
Yes. So, but yeah, we're on Apple and Spotify for the most part, and then I think there's some other ones that it publishes to. So,
What is one thing that you wish people would know about the things that you do that would make the world better?
Repeat that one more time.
What is one thing you wish people would know about what you do that you think would make the world a better place?
I would say we want them to know that their finances don't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be easy, and it can be systemized, streamlined, automatic, and that in itself, like, imagine, we know that money is the number one source of stress pretty much. And imagine not having that. Imagine being able to live your life with that monkey not on your back all the time. And so, I think that in itself, if each person can get their finances in order and under control and just done for them, imagine how much better they will be and how much better they will show up for each other.
Is there anything we didn't talk about today that you want to talk about? The floor is completely yours. Your product, your website, your program, whatever you want.
No, I think we hit it. We talked about the podcast. We'd love for them to come over and listen there. The free masterclass for them to learn about our third step, the automate part. And I think we hit it. We talked about the wellness bucket. Girl, that's important. Make sure you make a wellness bucket in your budget.
yeah, because those can definitely mess up your budget, right? A lot of what we talk about is, we get your monthly budget 90% the same by taking those things that are non-monthly and setting aside money for them, right? So you might buy supplements every 6 months or on Black Friday like Vanessa does, where you can get them the cheapest and you buy a whole year's supply or whatever it is. But let's start setting money aside for that now, so that when it's not, I don't have to come up with $1,000 in this month to buy all the black seed oil or whatever I'm going to do,
Or put it on credit.
And then the other thing, just to reiterate, if you want to go, I'll give you an example. I had a client that paid off her van, which was called Havana. I just think that's important.
I think it's perfect.
It's in part
Perfect name.
It's a detail. Okay. She paid off her van, and then her next goal was to get a yoga certification. And she was like, well, maybe next year, because it was in like a month or two. Maybe next year I could finally. And I was like, no, you have so much money left over because you're budgeting, you're being intentional, that you can pay for it in cash in 2 months. Like, we'll set aside half this month and half next month, and you're going to get Yoda certified. And she's just, her career has taken off from there. That was the very first step for her. And now she does all kinds of other stuff that's related in that field. And I just think, you have, like we talked about, believing in yourself and like making a plan. It's just math. It's just math. We can do it. And so whatever your goals are, let's figure out how to make money. Not, like Vanessa said, it's not stressful, it's not shameful, it's not heavy. It's just a part of it. And to our point, we just want to make it simple and automatic for you, so that you can still focus. Like, you can go there, be present, do whatever it is that you're being led to do, without any of that baggage or that anxiety dragging you down or holding you back when it comes to money.
I think you just need sometimes somebody else to come in and look at it, like listening to a podcast, hearing other ideas, thoughts, and go, why did I never think of that? And then that's where all the light bulbs start clicking. Like, her client, she just needed somebody else to have eyes on it, to basically almost give her permission or to show her that it was okay. And that happens a lot.
Yep. I love that. And that happens with a lot of things in life, where we actually need permission from an outside force for something. And yeah, my van, his name is Sunny because he has a beautiful sunroof. So
See?
yes, totally get
Perfect.
it. I totally
love it.
Okay.
People are really good at naming cars. I am not one of those people, but I actually really, truly love it. My husband used to have a black Bronco, and we called it the Bat. What was it called? The Bat car. No, it wasn't called the Bat car.
The
Maybe it was.
Batmobile?
I didn't hear.
Yeah, but it was like it had bat, and I had like a sticker made for it anyway. But I am not good at naming vehicles, so I really appreciate it when people Sunny, like who doesn't want to go take a ride with Sunny? Like, come on, I do.
Right.
Sunroof down.
Yeah. My first car was named Lilu. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
okay, last fun questions. What is both of you, what is your most bougie, ridiculous thing in your budget that you will never give up? Like somebody would have to pry it out of your cold, dead hands.
Oh, well, gosh. Okay, so we're talking about us and not our children.
Yep, you, and it has to be the bougie thing that's probably totally unnecessary.
Oh, totally unnecessary.
I mean,
I
it's a
don't know.
want, not a need. It's a
Oh,
for you know.
oh, can I say LMNT? Like, I know that that's not the most bougie thing, but do you know, like, it's my new addition.
Like a hydration water.
And I have to add like $200 to our grocery budget just for the amount of LMNTs that me and my husband want. Because I have
Sorry.
What?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's her fault. I didn't even know it existed. And I'm like, now I can't drink water without it. And it's like unnecessary technically, right? I drink lemon water. We can put some Himalayan salt in it. But I am addicted. And my sweet little gymnast, she's the most bougie thing in my budget, by the way. But she's like, Mom, maybe I'll get into that. I was like, nope. You're gonna have to move
can't
out
afford
and
it.
afford it and your own. No, none for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, what would you say?
I don't know if it's a want or a need, but for me, it's probably all my wellness stuff. I suffered a lot when I was younger with like hair and skin issues. And so I am very bougie on like my shampoo and my skincare products and my vitamins and all of that. And so that is a hard, like you're never getting rid of that out of my budget. Yes, I could go to use Suave, but I'm not. And so all of that's a must for me.
That is a need.
Yes. I know, but I'm not bougie in any other way. Like I color my hair because I started graying at 21. So that's obviously also a need for me.
Same.
But like I don't do anything else. Like but that part of my budget definitely has to happen.
Travel. We both do like to travel. So when we go with our girls and our boys, they travel too. We try to make it a whole thing, an experience. So I will say that gets a good, healthy amount of our budget. So, like they're going to go to
2
Orlando
days.
and probably do Top Golf and just do all the things. And no, it's not necessary. We've already spent $1,000 just getting here, but that's okay. We're going to make memories. And that's the season we're in. So we are definitely in a different season of our lives than before, like when I had a Trans Am, and like that would have been my bougie thing, and we were spending a lot of money making it look and do things that we wanted it to do. Right now, our kids, we have a lot of them, and they are taking up a lot of our time, so therefore they take up a lot of our money.
But that's okay.
It's okay because I pack my LMNTs. See, and our snacks are very bougie. Like, come on, we get Chomps. We put Chomps sticks in the budget. Those are like $2 each, you guys, and then and they're just all going with us because they're so convenient. Anyway, I think I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just talking.
I was just going to say, I actually messaged my son's baseball coach because he moved right from basketball to baseball. And I messaged him very unapologetically. And I said, look, I know Chase is going to tell you this at practice, but I'm telling you as a mom, my kid's coming with me to my daughter, her volleyball tournament, her 3-day volleyball tournament. We're leaving on Thursday. He's going to miss 2 days of practice. And I'm not even sorry because he's graduating next year and I only have so much time.
Yeah.
And these are mini family vacations and I'm taking him. So he'll be back on Monday.
We have to know. Can you tell us so that we can think of some things to put in our budget? What's your bougie thing in your budget?
Oh, there's so many. It's very similar to what you were just describing. There are certain things that are, if you really want good quality and you actually want it to be healthy, they cost more money. Like the shampoo I use only has 4 ingredients in it, but it's the best thing on the freaking planet. And it's very, very expensive. But I will... No, it's the only thing that helps me against my hair loss. So I'm not going to do anything else. Right.
Right. Yeah.
And same with travel. I mean, if I want to see my family, I got to go overseas. If my husband wants to see his family, we got to go to Alaska. So it's not, and we're right in them. I mean,
you're in the best place
quote
to live.
unquote in the middle in Florida. Like that's scary.
We are.
But they all need to just come visit you.
Yeah, I think that you picked the medium spot. That's you did a good job. Yeah, totally agree. But and with the healthy thing, it's for food. It's for like
Mhm.
literally, if you go out to eat, go look at a menu like, okay, this salad, I know it didn't cost you however much money for this salad as it did a burger or a steak or whatever, but it's still
Yep.
more. And so this is the life that we live, friends, which is why we just got to get it in the budget because we want to be healthy. We want to be the best versions of ourselves, which unfortunately is going to be a little bit more
Mhm.
expensive. Going to be worth it. Oh,
It
that's another
is.
thing that we say, like you're either going to pay for your health now or later. So either
Exactly.
we're doing healthy things to our bodies now and we will have less medical expenses later, or maybe we're cheaping out now, but we're going to pay for it later. And so we don't want that for you. We want you to put it in the budget, and become that healthy best version of yourself so that you can live your best life.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I mean, my husband doesn't bat an eye anymore on it. And he's like, unfortunately, he is very, I don't know. I shouldn't say unfortunately. He is, he would never say no. Let's just say that, right?
They're
And
good like that.
sometimes I tell him, you can say no. And he's like, I'm not suicidal.
Are you calling me stupid? No.
Well, there's a trust factor there. We talk about like our husbands never
Yeah.
tell us no. It's because they trust us and they know that money is there. We've talked about it. We've looked it over. Like we've discussed it. We're able to do it. And so yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's good to be together with your finances with your spouse.
Yeah, absolutely. Word of the day. I agree. All right, y'all. This was fun. This was really, really educational, fun, and hope giving. And I hope that, everybody who's listening, and the thing is that I cannot envision one person, unless you're the super guru when it comes to finances listening. But if you're not that person, this pertains to everybody.
Mm.
Go find the Budget Besties. I will put all of your stuff on the show notes so people can find you. Do the masterclass, find out how this works so you can lose your anxiety about finances and spending money and still have fun and enjoy your life and not live on freaking rice and beans
Right.
and potatoes and whatever.
And you can afford your good shampoo
Yeah.
and, et cetera, et cetera. We all need it. Like,
Yep,
come on. Yes, yes.
exactly.
So please come,
Yeah.
budgetbesties.com/start. We would love to hear from you and get to know you and help you in any way that we can.
I will. I know I
Okay.
will.
Good. We'll
Okay.
see you there, girl.
100%. Yes. All right. Thank you so much for being here today, Vanessa and Shana. This was such a pleasure. You're so much fun. And you bring that fun and that lightness into a subject that can be very heavy for people.
Well, thank you for having us, Lena. We had a wonderful conversation. And again, the B word, we love it. We have a good time every time we talk about it.
Yes, the B word, the bougie, bestie, budget, everything.
All of it.
All the B words. Yep. We're here for it.
All right, y'all. Subscribe, do all the things that you need to do. You know how it works. And I see you next week. Bye, y'all.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. Leave a comment, give it a thumbs up, a review, and share it with somebody you think needs this. Have a fabulous day. See you next time.